Yeah.
Yeah, these especially the last few days. I mean, who's been on the last few days? It's been let's see. Yeah, it was well, Mary and from Ireland, and then Wanda.
I listened to Mary too. Oh, she's
Yeah,
got such
yeah,
beautiful energy.
yeah. She
Mm.
was amazing, and Wanda was amazing. And then Raylene, and then
Yeah, yeah,
Alicia, and then
Wanda.
I had
Yeah.
Maya this morning, but we had a
Oh,
power outage in Mexico, so I have to reschedule her. But yeah, so something's in the water that
well,
I
I'll just say this now because things will just disappear if you don't say them. Yeah, a friend who is integral to the stories, or my experience, landed in Mexico yesterday.
really.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's other things in Mexico as well because I think well, like a few things came up like okay, I'll just go back to Alicia again because that really a lot of things just went boom. The white glove
Oh yeah,
with
that was
Michael
wild.
Jackson.
That was
Well, I had a session done with Lisa Renee, and that was on the day of his passing. And
the day of who's of Michael Jackson's passing.
passing,
Oh wow.
the
See,
day he passed.
these physical synchronicities are the real deal. They don't
They
seem
are
like they're they don't seem like they're connected, but they are.
they are connected, and it had a massive impact on me, Michael. The first live show I saw with being in Australia, Sydney, whatever, with actually black people was the Jackson 5 here in Sydney on the 33 degrees south. And multiple years later, I'm at the same place at the Festival of Dreams with my crystal skull. But anyway, what I got from that too was on the same day, what was her name? The woman that passed was from Charlie's Angels.
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett, yeah.
You know,
Now,
she's from my hometown. She was in the same.
I know, I've got it written
Yeah,
down. That's what
she.
they're showing me. Oh, Corpus Christi. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
What is it about Texas? There is a lot about Texas, or there has been, as in, and I've got the yellow rose of Texas. I mean, these are all people that have been working for a long time, and it's like now everybody is coalescing because this is the unified, high intelligence, and it's allowed. What else? Oh, there's so many things that came through. Alicia mentioned the 22nd of August for something that was big. That's my mother's birthday, It's like
Mm,
the Queensland part, as you know, has been huge in my journey because that's where two grandchildren were born. And it's also to do with where I spent COVID. Ashley and I mean, this is about Ashley, and it's very much about the divine masculine, and it's uh like I always got maximum stretch. That's what we represented. That's why both of our initials are AO and the surname is OA. I mean, it's the 0 point. Like um, they've shown me things for many years, but I have not been heard or seen, which I know is divinely orchestrated because it wasn't time, because it was dangerous. And there were many dangerous things. And
mm.
as you were talking about, we have been in the belly of the beast. Like then I'm sure like literal things. This is I just this room, it represents us that. But they show me like that's the beast. But what is the beast? It's the shadow with, there we are with the red. This was this was a live show because that was also, my mother and my parents were in entertainment, like movies, cinemas, etc. So that's the lens of perception that comes through sometimes. And my younger daughter, I took to that. But that wasn't me instigating it. That was her, and all the fractals are right here, right here. I just like talking about no sleep. I've had 2 nights of no sleep because I was with the youngest granddaughter who is 6 months on Thursday. I was born on Thursday, but I mean, Thor day, literally. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But numbers numbers are like They've been really, really important, as in a language, and I call it mother's language because it doesn't go with anything, but it does. And I've utilized those a lot because it backs up what's happening in the emotional side that I don't have to understand it all. It's a glance. It's been happening for many, many years, but it's been, and I'm sure this, if it's for me, it's for a lot of people. And I think the divine feminine had to figure it out, like, or have opened the heart enough, especially when it came to children, because that was the initial reason I even started to wake up, was because I thought, what's happening? Why is that happening to them? So the more I learned, the more I realized that you have the empowerment to change it. And anyway, I know we all know this story, but I just wanted to go back because it's more unifying with you and Alicia and whoever I listen to. It's like exactly what you've got behind you. We're the whole field now. And okay, the mirror to that is Ashley, who is an older masculine, born in South Australia, right? And he's known earthly where we're meant to have walked, but has I say acted asleep, but Sean literally stood there with signs telling me we were in the right place. Now, we were married on the 4th of Feb, right? So you've got your 4 and your 2. Today is the 24th. This ties in with a little boy, but I'll talk about that later. But it's that 2 and the 4th, sacral and the heart. But it's, to get to the higher heart, it's the 2 and the 4. And I was also shown yesterday with 2211. That's 4 and 2 as well. It's just a higher version. I'm born in February, which is a 2. Ashley's born in 11, November. So here's a higher version, or flip it. Who is? Nobody is. It's just learning the
That's
maximum.
the A and the O and the O and the A.
Yeah, a maximum stretch. And it's always been like the child to see, any of us, like children and animals, as in, you said it. I took photos. Sorry, that's the dinging, but it's reminding me. I took photos of the time slots of what you said when you were speaking to Alicia too, about the pure love part, or the purity, or the timing of when you said that was right in the middle, I think. You also mentioned Rubik Cube, and I've been called that, and that's actually makes a lot of sense, because how do you verbalize a Rubik Cube? But they've shown me along the way, kids, young ones, because, and a Queensland boy, I think it was, like they're putting it together, and the quickness of time, and yeah, that's numbers again, but it's colors, and it even goes further to a beach here. I think I mentioned that before. There's a beach, Maroubra Beach, and for some reason that still has a Rubik cube in concrete on it, and it was all different colors. And then I think it was 15th of December, I think it was 2023 or maybe 2024, but it was in December of one of those. On the ABC News, it was shown to be solved. In other words, somebody had come. This is how it happened. Somebody had come originally in the middle of the night. Artists. This is what I'm getting. What is art? We're art. We're art in action, in one sense. So artists in the middle of the night, so the darkness, the void, the whatever, came and painted the Rubik Cube. Then I don't know how many years later, like I've done all of this, I've placed it in places because I'm part of quite a few groups outside, but not necessarily, not Facebook as such, because it's a different, broader audience, but it's getting there. It's like everything is landing, and it also will come to a time where it won't matter, but it's not quite there. That's Christmas, December, the 2112. I mean, you're born in the snake handler, right? So I have a granddaughter in that, and she's born on the the Boji Tree Day, it's like these, and then this time last year, we were in South Australia, Ashley and I, looking at this mammoth, I think it was white granite, Buddha sort of thing that had been built looking over Selleck Beach, which is right next to Moana Beach. Now, it is to do with Moana. I mean, it's to do with my Hawaiian trip, blah, 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 blah. That's how it goes. It's like, okay, 4-2 again. When I went with a group, there were 7 of us, and we all had tones to sing on the 11/11/2018, 8, right? 8 is multiplication like the flower of the 2 into the 1 or the 1 into the 2, right? We were staying at a property in an octagonal house, and the house had been created in Bali, right? Which I've known as a Trinity Gate as such. And it was reassembled on Kauai, which is known as the 12th gate of masculine. And the code to get into this was Ashley's birthday, 12/11, like, or 11/12, whichever way. It's 11/11 in the US when he has his birthday here, which is the 12th. So, and there were also auroras everywhere. But anyway, but on the 11/11/2018, which is 11, I've got the right year, which equals 33, which is where I'm living, which is also our spine, and it's where I'm getting lost now. I went too far.
So
The 7 tones of creation, well, they were sung. We were singing them. And I could tell you some amazing stories of, like, most people fly to the top there, and we did, and then there ended up being another person up there, which shouldn't be there, but he ended up, I think I told you before, but it's really pertinent. He ended up being a mature man that had owned the whole Nepali coastline. That's how I remember it. And he wasn't interested in the land or money. He was interested in the trees. So he showed us a particular tree. There were only 2 left of that type. And we all stood around and sung into the tree to regenerate the tree. That's what I'm getting, actually. We're regenerating. For me, being an older feminine and just the whole walk that it's been, actually represents a regeneration, as in things that I've seen him go through, and you just, well, anyway, and
are
me,
you are
right?
you talking about you're talking about your husband, but I mean, are you talking about recently
Yeah.
the things he's going through? So like
Oh,
what
the
like
things he went through a little this year anyway, a couple of months ago,
yeah.
just the level of me even thinking, and the girls saying to me, "What's wrong with that?"
So
Yeah,
so you're basically saying the same thing Alicia was saying yesterday, which
yeah,
is
sure I
in,
am.
in her in her story,
In a different way.
in regard to uh, like evidence or and again, we're all masculine and feminine, but there is a lot of men that are going through stuff, like the deepest stuff, and that, so like, how does this all connect? Like, you mentioned December. We know that that's going to be a hell of a
Well,
period of time. You know what I mean? Like the Three Eye Atlas is on the 19th,
yeah.
closest to the Earth, and then you have the solstice.
Just look at Atlas. This is the other thing. That takes me to New York, right? We've got Atlas at the front of Tiffany's, and you think, what's that? And then we've just had, I know this sounds strange, but I know it connects. And that's how it's a fast stretch, but within this body, it's like that's a connection. Tiffany Trump had a baby boy. And it was almost the same timing as, even though it's a long stretch, that our youngest grandchild was born, right? And they're showing me AUS USA. but there is a bridge person in the middle because she came with us. She's friendly with the Trumps. She went to the inauguration and she's very friendly with Marla Trump. And she came with us to Uluru and Katajuda, right, in 2020, which was a big, well, a lot of people from around the world went for that particular alignment. I can't even remember what it was, but it was on I think it was in January, maybe the 12th. So you've got, okay, this is the other thing, 12th of January
Okay,
was
so
hot.
what happened on the 12th of January that you're referring to? I don't understand.
Okay, well, this person who was living in Hollywood, I think still at the time, came over with her partner and our group. There's a woman here who actually was friendly with her that collaborated. She told me at the time, I came to her in a dream, and this crystal skull, I've got one that's called Totality, and it's a citrine skull, and I was told it's to do with my masculine. And anyway, she said that this skull came to her too. It said, "You've got to come to Uluru." So
And this happened on January 12th?
well, this was the 2020, I think it was the 12th, around there, 12th or 13th, it was the alignment. I'm sure if you look up 2020 major alignment, that a lot would come up. I mean, I have documented these. This is why I accidentally sent you that photo that has lots of photos,
Yeah.
because I'm told to take a time thing, or just it's like it anchors it and
So
voice
is
it.
so is
Is
this all coming is this all coming to a head now?
yes.
It's all coming to a
Yes,
head. This is the point. Yeah, okay. All right.
this is the point. Yeah, totally. But some of us, like I've got an 11th grandmother shield that I got before I was grandmother, and it's been a long haul walk for us, right? We've represented maximum stretch. I'm a 59 baby, he's a 57 baby, right? And you put 7 and 9 together and you have gold. That's the atomic number for gold. But it's like I've done, I don't know, the feminine felt like there had to be a lot of the feminine work. I'm working with I've worked with his mother and his auntie, before his dad, but his dad's there too. It's like I see it all from different perspectives. So 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 going back to Uluru and Katajuda, right? Because Uluru is known as the root chakra, it's known as the red, it's perceived as the heart center. But once you do your work, you've got your power, your solar plexus, and then to me, it's on orange, right? It's sacral. And these are the lower chakras that we all don't really, well, we haven't liked. And that's the sort of what that made me talk like that, like grounded. On the way back, I see a big truck. It's painted in pink. It's got #1 transport. Now, that's what the business that Ashley was in. It was called Cable International. Like, not now, but these things are showing it's all one. But we had to, like, it's such a sort of a dense level. And monetary wise as well, they're only numbers. So
Hmm.
I remember being sent like it's been like walking the fourth dimension, but this is finished because that's the dreaming. That's what was interfering as well with our children when they went to sleep. So um just up the road here when I'm in Sydney, there is a place, but it has no connection now, but it did in those times where you had to look the fool, you walked your walk, you did what, the downloads, my connection's only ever been to the eternal true source, pure love source. Actually unconditional love, because I keep seeing the UL 2112. I mean, what does unconditional love mean? I mean, I'm still learning. So, but it is like looking at the swan. We have the black and the white swan here. that's a symbol for our capital city, ACT. It is a black and white swan. The black swan is originated, I think, in Western Australia. Then they show me numbers, Western Australia, 231, and what's the postcode here? 20, which is 0.31. But my postcode in Queensland is huge too. It's 4221, and 422 is like Earth Day, 22nd of the 4th. Anyway, I think it's been a lot of merging of those two on the ground,
What two?
representations of
What?
masculine and feminine.
Yeah, yeah. So what you're really saying is that everything which is kind of your thing, you see these things in the physicality, the symbology of it all, and you're
Yeah, and
saying,
it's been manifest for a long time, but as the strengthening of the weave, because they've shown me with weavers, it's been a lot to do with the Aboriginal, and as in, I got Native American first, and I'm thinking it's interesting I didn't get an Aboriginal connection, like literally, but
to what?
to
Connection to what?
to land, to stories,
Yeah,
but you don't need them, but that's walking the walk. So what I found was that as you walk the walk, it's not like you ask for anything, you magnetize it, it comes.
right.
So well, it seems to have happened mostly this year, really, to do with there's two women, very powerful women, and one represents the UK, United Kingdom, and the other one represents the Aboriginal lineages. And I feel like I've played the middle role, as in
Okay.
having connection with so you could say North America, I mean, Turtle Island, like that side, because that's, if I could go into hours of what was represented by the woman who created that, which was a beaded shield, it's aqua. I have the red Chinese abacus, so you've got your red, like down here we're part of Asia as well, or there's a Asian connection, which I think I mentioned last time, has a lot of nines. And it also came with a pet, I forgot what they call that, where you tie it around. And it's got all the beading to do with, it's like a butterfly. It's
So this was
yeah,
the work that the three of you did kind of
right.
coalesce this year, and we're here we are the brink of this.
2025.
Well,
Well,
but
what happened with these two women? Sorry, I know I do jump. It's really difficult to stay. Well, it's not
just
stay centered. I am centered
take a deep
just
breath.
so much.
Take a deep breath because
Yeah,
I'm a big believer that the code comes through in the frequency, but it
it does.
does help if we can connect the dots here. So this happened this year with you and the other two ladies. It
Yeah.
culminated. Okay.
Well,
What?
it actually happened in 2015. No, 2013 with the British one. We were in Central Australia, so to me, it was to do with
So
Uluru.
what? So then, what is the significance of what you were saying? What you mentioned earlier about this year involving the three of you?
Okay, well, because the woman from United Kingdom actually lives in California. She's married to a Californian. And she was given the grandmother 3 shield, which
She was
is
given.
vibration.
She was given the grandmother three shield.
I'm 11, yeah. And
What?
she was 3,
Okay.
which is vibration.
Okay. She was given the grandmother three shield by
Yes, so just
by
in
whom?
my,
By
yeah.
whom or what? Do you know?
Okay, by a woman called Karen Ravenhawk Williams. And Karen has a site that is basically, it tells the whole story of everything she's been doing. Uh, and how she was woken up and what she had to do on the land. And she, she arrived in energetic synthesis, which is Lisa Renee's um, uh, material and information. And she said, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but she heard my session, which was a turtle session. And because they were talking about sea turtles up and down the east coast of Australia, Queens,
Where did she hear your session on energetic synthesis?
yeah, she heard it on that.
So you have your session is on energetic synthesis.
I went, I was sent to Monterey, and when I was there, the woman said, you need to join Lisa Renee, energetic synthesis.
Uh-huh.
And I was given a book on the Magdalene.
Okay.
And at that time, Todd, because it was all to do with sound, music, and it was her and her husband. And actually, it's just dawning on me. I was doing a course in crystals. When I actually got there, the woman said, I'm sorry, but the husband had been interfered with by 11th dimensional beings, right? And I have to cancel this. So she saw all of us, but basically I just walked around Monterey for the week. So, and I got crystals and I was doing dot drawings that looked like Aboriginal drawings at night. So that
When
happened in the
and
US,
when was this? This year? When was this?
2008,
Oh,
2008.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know it's like, oh, that's not now, but
No,
what
no, no.
I've
I'm
been
not saying it's not now. I'm trying to follow you. I'm trying to understand where all this comes together in the present.
doing, well, it's because it's multi-stranded. It's actually not one thing. They've sent me
No,
to
I
many.
get that. I totally get your makeup. I totally get it. I'm just trying to
Okay,
pull it all together.
I'm
You
glad
know,
you're here. Thank you.
no, I mean, I can, yeah, I can,
2008,
huh?
right? So 2008 was the year, and I joined ES, which is interesting because it's 519, which happened to be would have been my grandmother's birthday, the 19th of May, but anyway, um, as Ariane 7. And then in 2009, I became a full-time member and I changed to Ariane 777, right, which equals 21, which is also the number of dispensation, I think, in the Bible. My father was quite religious. And when I look at what happened through those following years, then I've looked at when my name has changed. It became like Ariane Oates Oz, AOA, because that connected in with things that they were doing. Now, the interesting thing though, Todd, is like I had sessions done then, and the last session was actually on the 23rd of August, which is that 22/8 or 23/8, which is my mother's birthday, really. And that ended up all being about Asia. So that was back in 2009, and I have not had any more sessions. The session I also had was not like it was done, actually, no, I did speak to Lisa Renee once, and that was by default in 2008, because I don't know, after that, she wasn't allowed to speak to Australia. So she actually did, but not to me. So
What?
I know
That's
there's always like why this and that, but I'm actually seeing it, the whole thing play out. In in lots of ways. It's like you had to go down the rabbit hole, and I feel like, well, here I am. The whole thing is it actually is all about unconditional love. I mean, you said it, and my body is the synthesizer. I had my nexus point in 212, November of 212, because I think I mentioned that's when I went into hospital. And I
right.
had this weird thing, and I called my own ambulance because I could not believe that I had to go there. Like, you're kidding, with everything that happened before. But what I got was Some of us put our hand up or whatever. You have to go into the system. You got to go into the belly of the beast. You got to have a look around. Uh, it was my father. I remember I was in ICU for a very short time, and I didn't have to say I didn't press this for medication. I didn't touch any of that. But my father called me. I remember that. So it's been to do with the masculine for sure. But my number, because you're given a number, was the mirror opposite of what my mother's number had been in that same hospital. And it's Prince of Wales, but that's POW. It's all to do with and the timing of my going in was when the Prince of Wales actually visited Australia and was here,
Hmm.
right, for the horse race. There's
Okay.
a horse race that used to stop a nation because we're all gamblers here, and it doesn't anymore. And in 2015, the first woman won that race. And then there was a movie made called Ride Like a Girl, but it's a really interesting movie because I don't know how a woman ever got to physically even be braced enough to get on a horse to win that race. Anyway, this is what I mean with the imbalance of the masculine feminine and how it's been walking home. And before I forget, when I walked in this morning, Ashley said to me, this was so strange. He said, because I was staying in my daughter's house with a baby because our son-in-law is in New Zealand. And this is very important that he's in New Zealand because we all traveled there as our last place, which is place of first light, just like, you know, Mount Wellington is. And in Australia, the two places of first light. And so I stayed there, and the number is 204, which is actually like the mirror of when we were married, or 402 or 42. And he said, I heard this big squeal or whatever. And I said, oh, that would have been, I say our cat, but we've been given a Siberian cat by our youngest daughter and her husband because they got two Siberian cats during COVID, because we were spending time in Queensland, driving everywhere and a whole lot of things, but they came down from Brisbane as well, Siberian cats. And anyway, I said, oh, well, it was probably Cleo. Could be Cleopatra, but anyway, that's what they named you, Cleo and Harry. I said, it could be Cleo. And he said, no, 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 I went out, no, Cleo wasn't there. And it was this huge squealing. And on occasions in the past, there's a black cat that used to walk out around, and she would be standing there squealing. And occasionally Harry, who's the ginger cat, and they're both big cats. They're like those the big ones, but I've forgotten the names of them. Anyway, and I think it's territorial. This one, he said, no, no, Claire was asleep and it's this big white cat. So I said, oh, a big white cat was basically walking around just out the front. So it made sure that it woke Ashley up, like, because it was right out the window where we slept. We've never had a cat, let alone even our own cats, or even cat fights right out near our window. So it was waking him up. So he's seeing the white cat. Now, what am I getting about the white cat? Well, you know, you're just going back to the peace part, like the white buffalo calf woman. I bought my own white koala. That's what I wanted as a child. And you couldn't get white koalas. But when I was in Cairns, which is right up the top end of Queensland again, I saw one and I bought it for myself. They sort of, I mean, these are, and also I'm looking at books, right? There's 4 books down there. I have a chapter in one of them. Now that was interesting because it had to be written down, co-creating with, there's 18 of us. And the woman who comes after my chapter is Laura Eisenhower.
Okay.
You know,
Let's slow
can't
down.
make it up. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah. I'm trying to stay up with you here. Okay, so
sorry.
the episode with the white cats and your husband.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand the connection to like white buffalo calf woman and other other iconic spiritual
Yeah.
figures.
Okay.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
what was the point of that? What did something
Point of that
happen?
is
Did
that's well, it to me that's highly unusual that he
Yeah,
got
but
that.
I mean like spiritually, like what did that mean? Did
But
something
spiritually, it's peace. I mean, that's what we're all heading back to, is
Yeah,
everything's
yeah, yeah. Okay.
dissolving.
So did he get that from it? I mean, your husband, did Ashley get that from it? Was
He's changed dramatically over the last few weeks, as in
When did the white cat thing happen?
last night, because he was
Oh,
here and he's
okay. I couldn't hear that. Okay, so it was last night. Okay, now we're good. Okay, I got you. I got you.
sorry. Yeah, I walked in this morning and that was the first story. But he's got lots of stories, and I'm getting listen to him. Like, he went with a group of guys because he's a motorbike rider. You know who else rides motorbikes? Who you were talking to her yesterday, or the day before. Uh,
Raylene Brady.
you were talking to her on Soulogy, and I have
Raylene.
spoken.
You're talking about
No,
Raylene?
no, not
Oh.
really. No, no, no. Be surprised. Well,
Wanda.
she's
Wanda.
Wanda. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wanda.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good word. So this is where I say we've been. I'll go back to that after. Anyway, yeah, he's a bike rider. So there was a group of men, and that we were all meant to go to the Blue Mountains, but I feel that's completed too, right? That's three sisters.
Hang
It's
on.
birth.
So they were to go to the Blue Mountains, and what happened?
Yeah, well, we didn't because I stayed to look after the baby with my younger daughter. But this group of men decided to, well, because a place that they've been riding to, and also we've been to, like, um, the guy who owned the property is moving to Italy, so he's finally sold it. So they all went up there to say, goodbye. But the place itself is 1,000 meters above sea level, right near the capital city that I said had the black and white swan, the ACT, right? Australian Capital Territory. They also show me CAT, if you move the letters around, or TAC, you're tacking on the boat. It's like, in the Australian Capital Territory, the architect for that was Walter Burley Griffin. And Walter Burley Griffin was part of the, not Freemasonry, but part of anyway, what's it called? Anyway, the reason why I'm mentioning him is because my childhood suburb of Castle Crag was designed by him as well, and
Okay.
then he's American, by the way, and he won the right to create our capital city here through like they used to
Interesting.
have, not a raffle, but it's like the Opera House, anyway, but it's just the story because it's the architecture. But anyway, so they're all up, staying 1,000 meters above sea level, which is the mountain bit. And I'm just looking at the people that he's with, like I won't say who they are, but like some of them are very, very, like, what the connections are big. That's what I found. We can be placed like in places, especially myself, where I think, wow, what am I doing here? But then maybe I'll feel probably more at home with no shoes on in the middle of, Central Australia. But it's that sort of thing. We'll just place you here, and then your body, just does the work. That's what I felt through the years. And it's been like almost like you could say an autist thing where you can't explain it. It sounded, quite often I'd get, and even now, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm really feeling the frequency,
Yeah.
from my peers. So I know I'm jumping all around here, but I'm looking at this white swan, and And there's a big thing in ES which is called the White Bride or something or other. It's like I don't, I'm not following any stories, but the art, the actually artworks talk to me a lot. The way, the creativity, and you can't see this, and this is important. It's like, how do I get this down? I received this. Oh, this arrived on the 21st, which is that 2 into 1, 1 into 2. The sound tone is tar, right? Tar was the tone that I sung in Kauai, the 12th gate, with the 7 others, right? 7 tones of creation. And we were taken to a blue lake that's bottomless to sing it into. It's like, and right next door to us, we had the guy who created Facebook
Yeah,
was,
Zuckerberg.
yeah, Zuckerberg was
He's
building
on the
his,
north. Yeah, he's on the north side. Can you move your camera back up?
oh, sorry. I just wanted to show you that anyway.
Yeah, that's
I'll talk about that
yeah.
after, but that arrived and, but actually I got to open it on the 22nd, so that felt important. Anyway, I'll quickly Zuckerberg. They showed me Facebook was created on either the 4th of February or the 2nd of April. You know what I mean? The 4224 as well with the
Hmm.
Zuckerberg bit. So, and anyway, with this, the friend who's arrived in Mexico to do quite a lot of things, and then she's actually going to other places in the US, but I won't say any more because I probably shouldn't be. But she had a piece of jewelry and I really liked it. And I don't go for very many things. So I asked her and she put me onto this lady, which is called Sixtana, Sixcina. Oh, let's see. And she, I didn't realize where she was based. She's based in New York and she's German and she's amazing with her downloads and what she like, because this is made out of, it's a Hermica diamond. And then there's like at the top. And then I thought, oh, Hermica, Her with a Ki, which is key. Myrrh, the water. So
Hmm.
hermit diamond on the top. And the bottom is what's it called? Libyan desert glass, right? And then I've been shown how, or this the purple feather that was it. I had been shown how Tutankhamun had a scarab, and Tutankhamun was the son of Akhenaten. So you've got Akhenaten who, did all the sun thing. And he's come along and I don't know the story exactly, but there's a reason why this jewelry of the scarab has this particular Libyan desert glass, which is also found in Western Egypt. And this glass, they're saying, is 26, they think it's to do with a meteorite that's 26,000 or million years. And they don't understand what it's made of. So that's what's on the bottom. And I just love the way she's done the gold around. Now she got a message, and I actually, like I don't think she, it's just she said, look, I was told that there's a connection with Kata to Judah, not Uluru, Kata Judah. And I'm thinking, Kata Judah, like that's the parkland name that Uluru resides on. And then anybody who goes to Uluru, they mostly, they go very close by is Kata to Judah, which is Valley of the Winds. It's got 36 mounds
Hmm.
and they call it 36 heads.
Hmm.
And to me, you could go, 369 or you could, I ended up looking up things and see, this is it. It's just information and you meant to touch on it and let it go. But, the woman, before being called Katajuda, which is like the word, the original word, it was called, yeah, see, down the name goes from me, but it's a, European name and she was married to a German king or something. So Like it goes back to that. And that's what I also noticed when we were at Uluru. There were so many people still calling it Ayers Rock. And it's Ayers Rock Airport, and it's a combination of both, but it's supposed to be Uluru before Ayers Rock now, even though it was Ayers. And this is to do with his stories dissolving because there's an amazing video that is made by a doctor. He's since passed, Leonard Schmaltz, or he wrote a book called The Goddess and the Alphabet, or The Alphabet and the Goddess. And what I liked about him was he obviously had gone through academia, was married with kids, and was revered by the people that were obviously seeing him. And he was what was he? He was a surgeon, a throat specialist, or yeah, anyway, I've forgotten what he was exactly, but the whole nucleus of the video was that as soon as the word came into being, the goddess disappeared. And he proves it with the way he speaks about it. And I got that. It's all to do with what area of the brain are you using. So when you're reading, you're using the non-creative side, and we lost that side. And apparently, what I've heard as well is with the computer coming in and being used responsibly, we can merge both sides because we're using our creativity. It's not just the word, it's the masculine, feminine again. But I loved the way this guy spoke with humor, and it's like it's old, it's years old, and that I haven't even read the book. That's what happens to me. They tell me, buy the book. So I buy the book, I'll look at the numbers that come in, what you pay or whatever, and I don't necessarily read it because I don't have
But
to.
you're picking up the code. That's the way you're built. So where do you think we're at right now? We've only got we've got 10
Okay,
minutes.
well, I mean, look, everything is slower than it's always slower than I think it is. Because being AO, it's like it represents beginning and the ending, or you can say, the creatrix and we're dissolving the densest, uh, you know, um, and that goes through even look, there's an Aqua Mother portal in ES, and my younger sister is actually the first person on that who passed, see, on the 3rd of the 6th,
What now?
19.
What happened? Your younger sister was the first one to pass.
Well, my younger sister passed,
She
and there
passed.
is a thread in energetic synthesis, and it's called a Mother Aqua Portal. And anybody who uh, wants to, as a group energy, surround the person they love that's left the planet, then they put that in there. The person, or not the person, they write about the person. A lot of the time, this is years, like not necessarily now. I don't spend a lot of time in there now, but I know it's very important to my story. Um, and what I learned from that, right, by looking at my younger sisters, is in our family, well, that's probably my greatest trauma without knowing it, but it was in 92 that she passed, but 3692. So you've got I look at 2 9/11 really. They all go together. And her bow was gold. My bow was blue, and my older sister's was pink. So you could call it like the Trinity in a different way, just the origins, whatever. Um, Now they showed me as well in the Aboriginal storylines that that was when Queensland and a man called Mabo, Mabo, took the British Crown to court and won. They won their case on the 3692, the same day that my sister passed. That's 33 years ago this year. It's all
What was
these.
the case? What was the case that they won?
Well, it was Mer Island, MER Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's now called Murray, but it was Mer.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy Mabo went in with 6 generations had lived on that island. Um, you could look it all up. I mean, there's a lot to it, but typical. This is me. I sort of get a bit, and I get that sort of, and then it's like that's enough. It's like I don't need to go on more than that, but then I might be somewhere and something will come up about that. But that's a very important part because it's a coalescing. I think it's to do as well with the Africa and Australia part, as in um, okay, I'm looking at all these books. On the 999, when I was at Uluru with my Aboriginal connected friend, it was her grandmother who was stolen generation. And that's the one person that in a 216 star camp, the British person and the Aboriginal connected person and myself were at again. So I've been to Uluru with the British person on my own now. I've been to Uluru with my Aboriginal friend who also created an amazing 108 beads jewelry for me. And I know that that's very important, that number, the 108. Yeah, it's also, I got the 108 names of mother, but like, there's a,
I've heard that before.
yeah, but that's not her because she's follows a different lineage as such. And all of the beads and everything came from all the places of travel and all like yeah, each one is a heartfelt connection. Anyway, so yeah, I'm getting lost again. Oh yeah, the Marbo case. I was also shown the Marbo won because of, or part of the reason they won, because of the way that they lived over the six generations by there's an octopus. So you've got your 8 arms of this octopus. And you can look it all up. It came down from New Guinea, which is another place that I visited when I was 9 years and 3 months old with my grandmother. She was living there with her husband, and that place is an unknown, like as in elements, like the elements. You've had to know the elements in order to bring in more. You have to know it all. You have to like right now, you're the snake handler. The last Hunger Games movie was the something to do with this, the golden snake or the snake and the songbird. The songbird is originated in Australia. Um, and it doesn't mean anything, but it does. It's like I feel like we haven't had the people to talk in that sense, but it's like this merging because you need both. And this is to do with Antarctica. In energetic synthesis, Antarctica is the ninth mother arc. And I don't know, they show me different things of what people are picking up with that, like Ruby Lakes and then that Mr. M3333, he's got 4 3s, which were
I've seen that guy.
yeah, like that, well, the banking codes I had were that for ages. They're
What
not
about
now.
what about him though? Why are you bringing him up?
Oh, well, because he was showing this emerald like mass that was coming up from Antarctica
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
hitting, but it was more than what it was hitting. It was hitting like the places that he says. It's like, look, this is what happens to me, Todd, right? I try and keep it little and like there's pages that happen to me because I think listening to you and it's like, oh yeah, there's So, okay, this big one in the middle here is next year is the fire horse, right? 2026.
What's the fire horse in relation to what?
Chinese
The
astrology.
Chinese astrology. Okay.
Yeah, right, yeah.
All right.
So bringing in all of it because I have a Chinese abacus. In the Chinese astrology, I'm a pig, the last sign, right? In the Western astrology, I'm a Pisces, the last sign. In the 13th sign astrology, I'm an Aquarian. So I get that it's this merging because 2031, it goes back to the pig, right? That's the postcode of this house or this place.
2031 goes back to the peak. What does that mean?
Pig, yeah. The pig is the last
Oh, the
sign.
pig. Okay, the pig. I got you.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I want to go there here because this is, well, show me that. Okay, a horse, the fire horse. Well, the 2026, that's the day of my birthday, right? The 26th of the second. But it's the way, and you write it in America anyway. Then they showed me, what else was there with it? Well, the horse is my older daughter. Um, and that's a story and a half because I wouldn't have got anywhere near the places that I've gone to if she hadn't got me there. And I mean, like, yeah, all over the place. It also equals 8 again. Oh no, 10, sorry, 10. What am I saying? 10. So the one with a 0 point in a way, the reason why I wanted to speak to you today too is also about a little boy who turned 10. And he's in Egypt right now with Vader Austin. So, the
With who?
water.
With who?
Vader Austin.
Okay. And who's this boy?
Look into him.
Who is this boy? Who is the 10-year-old boy?
Okay, well, I've got to try and be careful because if
Oh, no,
I
you don't have to go into it. You don't have
got
to go.
my
Okay,
own
so let me. No, no. You don't have to go into it. Just tell me what is the important.
importance.
What's the
Okay,
importance of it?
his whole journey. His mother was drawn to, well, we were in number 13, as I mentioned, in Queen's Park, postcode 2022. So lots of suckers in Sydney on 33 degrees south. Anyway, she was drawn to come and stay with us. And there were very interesting things that happened there. I had met her before. She's totally lived her life on direction. Like, reminds me of you, how you said you went through your time of being out on the streets. I actually, there was a woman that I was very, very friendly with and we did work. That was her calling too. She just went out and lived on nothing and reported back. Amazing. Anyway, on what happened. And people looked after her, basically, for the period of time that she was, you could say technically homeless, but anyway, this woman has just totally, she has only followed guidance. And we were sent many places. She lived in South Australia for a while, and just the places she went there. I remember seeing the little boy at the park. There must be a park there with the sword and the stone, how pulling the sword out of the stone. And oh, they also lived here for a while too. It's like these different places, Gold Coast as well. And but yeah, I'm pretty sure you could say like when when she found out she was pregnant, it was from Egypt. She was in Egypt, so she had been working in Egypt at that time. There's also this connection to Australia and Egypt.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course. I think it's connected everywhere, and that's
True,
only the
yeah.
recent past.
Well,
That's only the
yeah.
recent
We've
past.
been watching where they've been going and we've kept in contact and it's like this, we've been waiting for like, well, okay, the 24th of the 11th, I was in a course when he was born in Mount Wallumbin, Mount Warning in the Queensland, New South Wales border. with the American guy Kapacha. He was holding it. Do you know who he is?
No.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But he is an older guy. Like I think he's actually born in 1957 from memory. Um, and the people I met there in the like it was pretty amazing what was happening. I noticed the other day, because this is what happens to me. He's since become a grandfather. That's his second uh grand. He didn't say it was his grandson, but this time it's just a photo on you can see it on Facebook if you want. Um, he's traveled everywhere, that guy. I mean, he was meant to do my astrology. It's like that he was going to do, never ever got done, did everyone else's. I met some really interesting people and ended up working with one of them a lot. But the interesting thing as well is that this little boy was born when I was there on the 24th of the 11th in the UK. Sorry, that's where she was directed in the end, United Kingdom. That's where she was directed to have the baby with the father, who was American,
Hmm.
who resided on 33 degrees north. Like, and you can't make all of it up. Like this has been, we were directed to go to places and I brought back some stones, crystals, not very much, but she chose one before she left for the United Kingdom. Um, and she chose that from Sydney. And she was one day out from not being allowed to fly. You're too pregnant. So this is the timing of what she was following, and obviously what I was following. I know he represents a lot more than and I can't. I know also there's LA connections. I also get the LA part because of the 121, like this is actually 11 on 2, right? You finally get there. You've got the 11 holding the 2 around the 2, the 121, which is a way of saying L, A, la.
You're a heck of a weaver. You are a heck of a weaver. It's hard to keep up with you, but I can see where I can see what you're saying. It's of a very I would say a almost like a non-verbal frequency, like images, like telepathy, like, but yeah, I mean, to me, like to sum it all up, it's like, you see the symbology's always been there, but most of the world got away from it. We're not seeing the relationship of the connectivity, and that's what you see constantly, like code, right? If you go back to like George Maxwell, he would talk about how everything's a symbol, and then the symbols got hijacked and used in a
Yep.
nefarious way to control. So this is kind of what we're breaking through the superficial, or what would you say? I don't want to say inorganic in the sense that it's not part of the,
Yeah.
the realm, but it's the part that's hoarded the esoteric knowledge and controlled things. So it's interesting to listen to you, connecting all the dots and weaving. Um, and I wouldn't mind staying a little bit longer, but my phone's going off because I have an appointment five
And
minutes
look at the
ago.
time, look, 1204 here.
They have 1204. There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a blast. So,
Well, I'm going to go back at some stage and go to the nucleus of what you said on that call, because that needs to be up there because it just went, I mean, for me anyway. There's a couple of, but I've got the time code on it of where to look back to get it. So yeah,
yeah.
I'll just,
Well, we'll
but
revisit it. We'll revisit it. Yeah.
yeah,
So, okay. Well, keep up the good work, and best to you and Ashley. Um, you know, the A and the
yeah,
O and the O and the A.
it's landing everywhere, which is very exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to Rainbow Beach for the family Christmas. And when you just drive out here, it's Rainbow Lane and Rainbow Street.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, I
and
think
it's
it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a heck of a next. What is it gonna be? We got 7 plus 31, that's 38 days. 37, 38 days. We got
So there's,
essentially
right, so
to the
10,
end,
11.
to
Yeah,
the end of the
wow.
year. It's gonna be huge. Well, it's good seeing you, and keep
Oh,
doing what
thank
you're
you.
doing. Keep in touch, and best to you and your family. And thanks for coming in and sharing space with us. And
Thanks, Tom.
yeah,
But
thank you.
anyway, as I've heard, it doesn't matter what it sounds like. The thing is just to walk your walk. And that was, I showed you that last time, I think, but it's like serendipity. It goes
Yeah,
back to that activity,
yeah.
like fortune and accident everywhere. And
It's
that's the walk we're
grace.
walking with an open
Yeah,
heart.
yeah. It's grace. You take care.
Yes.
Okay. I'll see you
Thank
later.
you.